what's up, my zealous little zinnias? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Not So Daily Grind, we're back with another installment of Rob reads you shit that you don't want to read yourself. And even though I don't have it pulled up on the screen, we are going to be going over the upcoming Xaku changes. But before we do, I did want to go ahead and address the elephant in the room, why I have not been posting up any content on this channel for quite some time. As many of you guys know, I am an essential worker, and things are kind of progressing in a very interesting way. As California has caught on fire, my job has actually become a little bit more demanding, and there are kind of some promotions that are floating around in the air, so it's getting kind of complicated. On top of that, Heart of Demos was really just not an update that captured me. There were so many things wrong with it, and there's so many frustrations that I had that I felt like any content that I would put out would just be more frustrated and aggressive than it needed to be. But as you can tell, I've been doing a whole lot. As you can see right here, my Necromech is 6 Forma Deep. I do have a whole bunch of mods for it. I've kind of maxed out all of the weapons, the Cortege, the Mausolon. I even have everything that goes with the Trumna, the Spellicular. Listen, I own it, but I still don't know how to pronounce it. I've been doing all of my helmet stuff, and I'm max rank in all of the syndicates that are currently going on. So basically, got everything that I needed to get. I just need to get my, emotions in line before I start, going for the throat about how terrible this update was. But before we do, let's talk about something else that was really, really bad about this update, which of course is going to be Xaku. Now, I'm not trying to read this current generation of Warframe community, but back in my day, we made Nova. That was the community designed Warframe, and back then, she was even more powerful, and they had to nerf her ass down to what she is now, which of course is a very iconic frame that can slow down, speed up, CC, deal more damage, become extremely damage resistant. There's just so much in her kit that is amazing that when, our community now, who is focused on dumb shit like Warframe memes on a consistent basis, they ended up coming up with this trash heap. Which is actually kind of literal, now that I think about it. It is a literal trash heap. So DE had to go and fix it, and this is going to be their first dev shop post about it. I'm assuming that, down the line, when, they test this out, and if this is not, a fun way to play, they'll probably go ahead and update it again. But I'm just saying, old Warframe versus new Warframe, maybe drop the memes and get more serious about the gameplay. Anyway, DE Danielle, which is by far one of my favorite staff members. I don't know if you guys, are there, if you know too much about the DE staff, but she's a classic, okay? So, keeping in within the realm of the community-created Warframe project, Xaku will be receiving numerous changes based on your feedback. We have read countless paragraphs and posts, watched hundreds of minutes of YouTube feedback, and more. We try to gravitate towards certain areas for round 1 changes, which were highlighted most frequently or compellingly in your feedback. Adjustments may be made between now and when the changes go live. So, here is how we are changing Xaku's passive, including AoE damage reduction as a part of Xaku's passive. How it will work. AoE damage will simply take a 25% damage reduction, while 75% while Vast Untime is active. So 75% damage reduction while Vast Untime is on, which is quite nice. Currently, Xaku's passive reduces incoming weapon damage, which includes projectile hit scan and melee attacks, but does not include any protection from enemy AoE damage. For example, if an AoE shot a rocket at Xaku, the projectile itself would have a 25% chance to pass through them and deal no damage, 75% with the Vast Untime, but the explosion following would have the full effect. With this change, Xaku's passive grants him 25% damage reduction on the following AoE explosion from the rocket. This is increased to 75% when Xaku is running around bare bones. Can I just tell you, it's one of the fucking ugliest effects that I've seen Warframe do. Here's some of my feedback. And I'll give this to you for free because I'm gonna start charging for my shit. But really, what they need to do with Xaku is when they do Vast Untime, is they need to also include a spectral body, like almost like a ghostly body effect around the bones, so that way it's a little bit more bulk and a little less dumb shit meme. That's what I'd like to see. Alright, here is how we're changing Zada's Whisper. We are making void damage true neutral by removing the 50% resistance of void damage on clone flesh and fossilized enemies, a long desired request for void damage. Currently, void damage is relatively ineffective against clone flesh and fossilized enemies, which greatly limits the use of Zada's Whisper on Grineer and infested enemies. In an effort to give it, and void damage in general, more utility across enemy categories, we're removing the resistance so that it aligns with its neutral effectiveness against other enemy types. It's important to note that Eidolons, Amalgams, and certain bosses will still maintain this resistance. One of the things that I gotta point out, oh shit, I hate... Like, listen, one of the big things that I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially with my job, because my job requires a lot of brain power, is that my brain power is, you know, worth being paid for. But let me tell you here, Zada's Whisper is by far one of the dumbest abilities I'm going to put out there. So it's just a damage boost? Cool. Why don't we go with the theme of the actual Warframe itself, where it's compounded 3 different Warframes, and give 3 separate effects to the Zada's Whisper buff. Maybe make 2 pretty base ones like reload speed or attack speed, then the other one, the void damage, and then something else that is a little bit more interesting and makes Zada's Whisper more interesting to use and kind of synergizes better with the rest of the kit. I'm just putting it out there because it is supposed to be a smash together 3 kit, and their first ability is just one very boring damage boost. Just putting that out there. Anyway, let's move on to Grasp of Loke, which is actually really interesting. I thought this one was kind of cool. Increasing the speed at which enemies are disarmed so that it occurs earlier in the casting animation, also increasing the casting animation speed overall. This was one of those things that I fucking hated about this ability. The limited range and the absolute shit animation on it. Currently, the point of when enemies are disarmed once Grasp of Loke is cast is far too delayed, allowing Grasp of Loke to be recast. How it will work: any existing Grasp of Loke weapons will simply be replaced by the new cast up to a maximum amount of targets. The ability was cast with an undesired effect. To counteract this limitation, we're adding the option to recast, with the added benefit of resetting the ability's duration and disarming a new set of enemies when and where desired. I like this, but I need a little bit more clarity because I'm not sure if it's maybe me at the end of my day not exactly understanding their wording, but are they saying that, like, you could grab one enemy's gun and then you're like, oh, that's just one enemy's gun, that sucks, so you recast it on a group of 3 enemies? Does that mean you're just gonna get the 3 new guns, or are you gonna be grasping all 4 guns and then you can keep going and going until you get the max amount of guns and just keep replacing more and more guns as you go? You know what I mean? Up to the cap. Because if you're just letting us keep grabbing and grabbing until it's up to the cap and let us maintain that cap, I mean, I'm not so mad about that. I kind of like it, but also, at the end of the day, it's still kind of a boring ability. You also need to expand the range. Just putting that out there. So, moving along. Here is how we are changing the Lost Deny. This one is kind of alright, but the ability is still bunk. Adding synergy between Deny and Grasp of Loke that increases Deny's damage output. How it will work: the number of weapons orbiting Xaku from Grasp of Loke act as a damage multiplier for Deny's Void Beam. For example, if you have 4 weapons orbiting Xaku, Deny's damage will be granted a 5 times multiplier. Increasing the cast speed of Deny, love that, more firepower faster. One of the things that I have to put out there, and this is just, I hate to kind of like parrot something that's been said over and over, does DE actually play their own game? Because all of the animations on Xaku are just so incredibly slow, and just playing it like on their own, you could already feel how slow it is. And a lot of the times when you were using Deny, literally your target would just move out the way and it would just be like, okay, so I guess I'm just not hitting anybody. Here's why we are not changing Accuse or Gaze yet. A couple of posts, notably those written by people with verified 6th Forma installations, have realized just how powerful Gaze can be in certain mission types. So we are leaving Gaze untouched for now so we can continue to evaluate it with the realm of those who have invested Forma and time into Xaku to hit its sweet power spot. Accuse is also untouched for this round, but first thing on our list for the next round would be allowing Accuse to be recast, but we were awaiting that decision based on how this round goes. What I will say for Accuse and Gaze is they're not bad, but the limited range on them are kind of shit. Now, I'm just putting that out there. The range on them is not that great, and they need to be bumped up at least by 5 meters base. Moving on, and this is where kind of like grasp why Accuse and Gaze are about to feel a little bit better, and that's why I'm not kind of going in too much on them beyond range. But here's how we are changing the Vast Untime. Removing the energy drain and keeping it a duration-based ability. Love duration-based abilities, just putting it out there. That's why I love Loki's invisibility. It's duration-based. It's nice and simple. Currently, the energy drain on top of its casting cost and duration is far too restrictive and punishing. Adding synergy between the Vast Untime and all of Xaku's other abilities. How it will work. Emphasis on untime. When Xaku is in their skeletal form, their other active abilities' duration will become frozen in time. Love that, very creative. Once the Vast Untime expires, the duration of those active abilities resume. This was suggested in our feedback readings, and we were quite enjoyed the playing on the Untime theme and the added benefit to Xaku overall. We feel like since this is no longer an energy drain and it halts the timer on the other abilities, the energy demands on Xaku's kit will significantly be lessened. Note, this will not apply to Helmeth abilities and other abilities from other Warframes from Helmeth subsuming. I totally get that. We plan on releasing all of these changes on PC next week and console shortly after. I'm, in all honesty, a little bit excited to see it. For those of you guys wondering what my Xaku is, I am one of those 6th Forma people. I hated every minute playing Xaku. I'm just putting it out there. Hated every minute playing Xaku, but you damn well better believe I fucking toughed it out to put 6 Forma on this motherfucker. Because I wasn't about to say Xaku was shitty without putting 6 Forma in and playing the game. Because I don't do that whole, I'm going to talk shit about shit that I don't know about. Listen, I go 6 Forma deep into my Xakus. I go 6 Forma deep into my mechs. I do what I gotta do to get what I need to get done. And if I tell you it's bullshit, it's because I've played it and it's bullshit. So be prepared for the Heart of Demos update. But regardless, I am really excited to see some of these changes. I don't think that all of the changes have gone as far as they need to go, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am awaiting to see what the synergies feel like. I'm awaiting to see what they end up doing and if some of the abilities, especially the Lost, I'm curious to see if it feels better. Right now, it sounds like it might be, but it's also still a little bit iffy. So I hope that all ends well with Xaku because, listen, like I said, last time we have the legacy of Nova to live up to, and right now all we're getting is a pretty frame because let's be real. Xaku looks good. Xaku looks real motherfucking good, right? Oh, like, real nice. But pretty doesn't save you in combat. Alright, let's just remind you, pretty doesn't save you in combat unless you're Gara and you got all that glass and you blinding enemies and shit. At the end of the day, we need Warframe to have substance. We need Warframe to have like good, strong mechanics at its core. And you know, DE shouldn't be pushing this off on their community. They should be able to have ideas of their own to make some of their shit better. Alright? Anyway, that's gonna do it for me for now. Let me know how you guys currently feel about Xaku, and let me know how you feel about Xaku after these changes. Like, does it sound good to you? Does it sound bad to you? Does it sound like they haven't gone far enough? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, wish me luck. I'm up for a promotion for a job that I don't want, and I'm also up for a promotion for a job that I do want. So hopefully I get the one that I do want. Either way, I'm gonna get paid more, and that makes me happy. But I hope you guys are doing good as well. California's on fire, and I think I'm gonna head out for now. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and wash your goddamn hands. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.